Hey guys, Jake with DD Audio here. Today we're going to go over how to install our D4.100 fairing bracket on a 2015 Harley Road Glide. Alright, the first thing we have to do is remove the fairing. Once you get the fairing disassembled and the headlight removed, the first step is to loosen the radio bolts down here. You're not going to remove them, you just need to unscrew them by a little more than 1/4 inch, give or take. Alright, so to attach the D4.100 to the bracket, you're going to take the flanges and face them down, and the logo will be backwards left to right, but the point will be facing up. So in this orientation, the amp will sit facing this way so you can reach the controls. Then from the top side, we're going to insert the screws that are supplied through the feet of the amp into the holes that they line up with. Once you have the bolts loosened on the radio, you can grab these fairing snap tabs and just pull up slightly. Once you pull the radio up, it's going to give you enough clearance to get the tabs on the D4.100 bracket where they need to go. And because the bolts protrude through the bottom of this main fairing structure, this is what allows us to lock our amp bracket in place. When the radio's tightened back down, the rear flange will tension up against the bottom of the radio. The front flange will also be clamped down by the radio. Most importantly, the front two bolts and how they protrude through the bottom of the main fairing structure, they will catch these notches on both sides of the bracket, allowing it to lock in place and not roll forward. So to place the amp up into the fairing, and I have it facing with the logo up, and we have to pass it through the metal bracket under the headlight mounting tabs. It's a very tight fit. It's going to take a little wiggling, but it does fit. Voila! And once you get it past the headlight mounting tabs, you're going to want to wiggle it parallel to the bottom of the radio, and it helps to slightly lift the radio up a little bit. The rear tab is going to slide over the metal bracket, pretty well centered up under the radio. Once you have the bracket in there, we're going to re-tighten the front two radio bolts. The front two radio bolts happen to protrude through the bottom of the bracket just enough to lock the D4.100 bracket in place. If your D4.100 bracket starts to flex down, it's just ever so slightly misaligned. In order for the locking mechanism tabs on the DD Audio bracket to line up with the headlight and radio mounting bracket, the overhang tab on the DD bracket needs to line up centered in the gap on the radio bracket. Alright, so once you have all 4 radio bolts tightened back down and your amp is securely mounted in the fairing, you can continue wiring up your speaker leads, power and ground, and your remote turn on. Once your audio system is fully installed, be sure to flash your radio with the DD Audio tune via the Techno Research interface.